needed organization because, like she said, it is the student body voices to the administration. We have the university committees, which would be filled by the vice president, but that's where a lot of the decisions from the administration takes place. So having a student voice in there, which is provided by Asnmu, is a wonderful thing.
I think Asnmu is a needed group on campus because we are the student voice, and right now there are things that the students want, but they're not happening, so we need to step up and make those things happen.
Okay, we're starting with Justin. What would you change? Oh, any rebuttals? Sorry, I forgot to ask that. No, okay. What would you change about Asnmu?
What I would change about Asnmu is what has been said a lot today, communication. Communication is a big issue with Asnmu, and I think, withholding office hours in a student-heavy area could influence the communication pathway. Yeah, so communication is what I want to see changed in Asnmu.
What would you change about Asnmu?
There are a lot of things I would like to see change about Asnmu. We hold a weekly meeting on Monday nights quite often, and a lot of times only like one or two things is brought up during that meeting. So I would like to see that happen once every other week and have like a project day replacing those days when we sit down, take a project, and get it done, or at least make a lot of progress on it. Because we're really good at coming up with ideas, but making things actually happen is one of our struggles. So.
Alright, I'd have to agree with everyone. I think it's really communication and engaging the students. We have to bring Asnmu back to being the voice of the students. That's what it's here for. It's their student government and they need to reclaim it. And we can't just sit here and say the students don't care. You have to show them that you care first. When you do that by following through with your actions, and in return, we can get a lot more accomplished.
Okay, rebuttal? All right, we're going to start with Ben. What do you feel is the #1 issue that is affecting Northern students right now?
Parking. I think there are a few major things, but I think parking is one of the major ones. There aren't a lot of good ideas. Well, there are a lot of good ideas, but ones that are capable of making happen. So I think spending a couple of weeks trying to think of some solution to that would be a great thing.
It's to Helena, yes. Thanks.
Alright, I don't know if I'd be able to say right now what the #1 issue is for students, and that's something me and my VP need to work on over the weekend, getting out there and talking to people and seeing what their issues are. My own perspective, I feel like it's that they feel like they don't have an outlet for their concerns, and we have to really start with making a dent in this mentality.
I wouldn't be 100% sure what the whole student body's #1 issue is too, but personally mine is tuition increases. Tuition increases are always going up, so as a personal task that I want to take on as president is going through university budgets and making sure there's no useful spending, just to, yeah.
Okay, the mic, any rebuttal? Okay, goes back to Helena. What are you going to have the hardest time doing if elected to office? And the second part of the question is, what do you see as being the most difficult part of being president of Asnmu?
Alright, I think the hardest thing is, like we've said before, getting people to know what Asnmu really is. But I also think that is one of the most rewarding things if we're able to do a better job at it, because that's when we will begin to see results. And I think to really achieve this, we need cooperation and willingness of the student body, and as well as those in Asnmu. And I think the most difficult is that I think Asnmu is truly designed to run itself. It has a trickle-down effect. The students bring their concerns to their representatives, and the representatives can bring it to the president and the VP. And I think the most difficult is making sure that people that are qualified and dedicated and that are willing to take the initiative get those roles.
One of the hardest things that personally what I would face if I were to be elected would be balancing work, school, and ASMU. Our president right now, she took a secretary job. I feel like I would do that as well, just so I can be there more often, and just combine two of the aspects together. What I see as being the most difficult part as well is the unexpected situations that come up when you're president. I shared an office with Jason Morgan when he was president. I've seen Courtney, I've seen Lucia, I've seen how they've been doing as president. And the hardest things are the unexpected things that come up.
I think the hardest part of ASMU is getting student involvement. That's not just ASMU, that's with every university. There's a lot of students just aren't involved in politics. I think getting them to understand what exactly we do, like focusing where the tuition goes, like the beef pass or the laptops or whatever it is, then they might be more interested in having input and getting involved. I think that would be one of the hardest things is getting students involved. And one of my biggest, when president, one of my biggest struggles would be probably timing as well. I put a lot of time into there right now, and it's hard balancing all those things.
Okay, any rebuttals? All right, we're starting with Justin on this question. Why do you feel you are qualified to be the president of ASNMU?
Alright, I feel like I'm qualified to be the president of ASNU because I have been on the board for 2 years. I served one of those semesters as the chair of the assembly. I have leadership skills. I was the vice president of the College Democrats, membership director, and secretary, as well as being a teaching assistant for 2 semesters of freshman probation block. And basically, like I said, I shared an office with Jason. I've seen both Lucia and Courtney do the job. I can guarantee that I can do the job the first day.
I think that I am qualified to be ASNU president. Not only have I been with ASNU for a year, so I sort of know their struggles. I also spend a lot of time right now talking to students, knowing what they want, and I love doing that. I love getting out there and being with the students. I just like talking, playing cards, and drinking coffee. So I think that's what a university president should be.
Alright, compared to everyone else, I'm going to be honest, I don't have the qualifications that you guys would expect. I'm not coming from within ASNMU to fulfill this position, and I'm going to be honest about that. But I don't think that's what it's all about. I'm running because I've been disheartened and dissatisfied with the ASNMU's reputation on this campus. And I want to bring ASNMU back to the students. And I want to do that by being the voice for the average student. And yes, I am involved on campus, and I started the Amnesty International group last year, and that's something I really work hard in. And I'm also in All Nations Club and also in Relevant Campus Outreach. But from being an outsider looking in, I've never gotten great reviews about ASNMU, and that's from people within ASNMU and people that have just heard about it. And I think that's something that we really need to change. And coming as an outsider, yeah, I might not have past actions that can showcase my abilities to you guys, but I also think that works to my advantage. I'm just saying that this is something I'd be completely and utterly dedicated to, and that I want to do, and I'm driven and passionate about this.
Okay, any rebuttals? All right. Ben, what are your thoughts on the Student Association of Michigan as it pertains to the students of Northern?
I've gone to 2 or 3 of them. Students Association. Sam. Okay. I've gone to 2 of these, and I thought they were great. It was a great learning experience because I got to go and see what other student governments do, what they act like, how they get paid, how they work with the administration. It was a great learning experience. That was something I really struggled with coming into ASMU. So I think Sam is great.